I'd like to introduce Robin Brumfield, who's our next speaker. I know we met Robin when we did our introductions, but Robin is our extension specialist in farm management. And Robin brought the National Annie's Project here to New Jersey 10 years ago. Actually, we're in the 11th year. And we've had many participants in Annie's projects, and they've all used their business plans to start new enterprises, secure farm loans, develop websites, Facebook pages, and make point-of-purchase materials for their farms. So our hope is that now you'll be an Annie's Project alumni, and you'll be able to share the same successes that our past program participants have achieved. So tonight, to start off with business planning, a really important part and one of the first steps is to write a mission statement. So Robin?
Hi, yes, mission statements I think are one of the most important parts of your business plan, but I noticed in our more detailed schedule we have a 10-minute bathroom break right now, and
okay.
a couple of people have been asking for that. So let's come back, I think at like 8:20.
Okay.
Okay. Let me start sharing my screen. And the strange thing about sharing screens is I sort of lose what you're seeing when I share. So I'm hoping you have my PowerPoint now. First slide up. You see that, Madeline?
Yes. Yeah,
Okay.
it looks good, Robin.
Okay, super. So we've been doing Annie's Project. I started in 2011, and actually I also had a sabbatical leave that fall and took the idea of Annie's Project to Turkey because my daughter is half Turkish. And so it became called Suzanne's Project there because the Annie's Project people didn't want us to use the name at that time. So anyway, what I have found over the years of doing this type of course here in New Jersey under the name Annie's Project, and also in Turkey under the name Suzanne's Project, is developing your mission statement is often one of the most difficult things for farmers to do, but it is the most empowering thing because it really helps you identify why you're in business and what you're offering to your customer. It's not just saying I grow flowers or I make goat cheese or something like that, but it's sort of why you do it for the customers that you're doing it for. So I think it's one of the key parts of your business plan. And once you come up with it, I think you'll use it on your social media, your website, any kind of promotional materials you have, and it will be an inspiration to you and your customers and your employees. So that's why we're starting with this tonight. And Madeline mentioned that every week when we get back together, the first about 15 minutes, we're going to share our homework with each other. And we've also found this to be very empowering. So the main homework you have at the end of this class is to come up with a mission statement for your farm by next week. And then if you're willing to share that with other members of the class, often we find they have really good feedback. So let's talk about why a mission statement is so important. It really helps set the standards and goals for your business. And as Win Fei emphasized, is those can change over time, but so you need to go back and revisit it and make sure that it still fits. For the most part, I think if you have a good mission plan, the mission itself is probably still there, but you may change the approach of how you run your business, but you can also tweak your business plan. It's a document that looks to the future of what you want, and it can be a source of inspiration and clear direction of your business. The other thing I wanted to emphasize is both at the in the US and in Turkey, the women that I've worked with, one of the comments I get most often from women farmers is, until I took the Annie's project, I had no idea I was running a business. I was just, working on a farm, and I didn't think of it as a business. And that's one of the reasons I wanted to take it to Turkey, because they grow the most fabulous vegetables. And the farmers that I worked with there were mostly greenhouse tomato producers. And they're the best tasting tomatoes I've ever had. But the farmers themselves tended to be looking down on themselves as, I'm just doing this because I don't know anything else. But to me, having good nutrition and delicious tasting food is one of the most important things that you can do. And I have the only bumper sticker I've ever put on my car is the one from Farm Bureau that says, no farmers, no food. So, I'm mostly focused on ornamental production my whole life, but all the phases of agriculture are so important to our physical and emotional well-being. And I just think that's really important. And we need to think of our farms as businesses that we can, they're kind of a lifestyle to a lot of people in the past, and that's wonderful. But if we don't make money doing it, then we can't keep that lifestyle going. So the passion that we have for our farm should come through in the mission statement, and it gives you some direction of where you want to go. Some things that you should ask when you're coming up with your mission and vision statement for your farm, if you don't already have one established now, is what values are important to me. I noticed when Faye kept saying over and over, it was important to the family. It was important to the family. And, that's a really important priority in a family business. Is we want the business to succeed, but we also are still a family, and we want to hold true to our values. What values do we have that we're not going to compromise? What's important to me when I interact with people? Another thing she kept talking about was be kind, have these good relationships, and sort of karma comes back to you. What principles are important to you? I know some people over the years that even do direct marketing, if they feel like I want to shut down on Sunday, that's an important time for me, for church, family, or whatever, I'm not going to be open then stick with that. And how do you want to be seen when you interact with people, and what's important in life? I think one of the things that's great about farming is it's a career that most people are really passionate about, and they're happy to go to work every day. And like I said, I find most farmers never want to retire because that's their life and they're happy doing it. They may scale back if they're turning over to a new generation. And there's also some creative ways of transitioning the business on to someone else if you don't have family heirs that want to take over. And that's given some young people that I've met recently opportunities to take over someone else's family business. But it's something that most farmers enjoy, and so they want to spend time doing it. When you put together your mission plan, it focuses on your present, but it also it sort of takes into account the goals that you have for the future. And it really looks at the why you exist, not just I grow flowers or produce eggs or something like that, but why is that important? What is the purpose? What does the firm do that's important for you and your customers? And why should the customers come to you versus somebody else? So what do you do? Who do you do it for? And how do you project yourself to the world? It focuses more on what you will accomplish for your customers than the activities of the business. So it's kind of selling the sizzle, not the steak, if you remember that old advertising statement. So what is the need of a customer that will be filled by buying your product? And that's what we call the customer value proposition. And that's defined as a business or marketing statement that describes why a customer should buy your product or your service. And this has been a switch in my lifetime. I think I'm older than most of you now, but when I started in agriculture, we were market driven. farmers could grow anything they wanted and they could make money because there was more demand than supply. That's flipped in most areas of agriculture now. Now there's more supply than demand. So you have to find a market for them, and you have to really know what your niche is so that you can sell that product. So you first have to identify what the market need is. Then you have to produce the products that satisfy that customer need. And you have to be doing it at a price that customers are willing to pay so that you still have a profit. So that's a very big ask. And you constantly have to change and modify, because even if you find a niche that's profitable, pretty soon other people are going to find that niche and move into that area as well. I remember way back when I was a young graduate student, just starting my master's, and I was looking at business economics, and I talked to Art Van Wingerden, who's one of the heads of the dynasties of greenhouse producers in this country. And Art's no longer alive now, but I think his son or grandson is running his business, and he has children all over the country that run greenhouses. But he said to me, I'll tell you anything you want to know, because by the time other competitors figure out what I'm doing, I'm off doing something new. So he was smart enough, even in a market, even in a non-competitive market compared to what we have now, to stay abreast of things. He had to be one step ahead of the competition, and he always had to be adjusting to what the market saw. And one of the things that inspired me about him too is everybody back then was growing plants on the floor, and he raised them up off the floor because the employees didn't want to bend over and stoop and do that job. So he moved them up onto rolling benches for the comfort of his employees. So you have to take not only the customers into account, but the business itself, the family, and your employees. So a mission statement needs to be short enough that people can remember it. We kind of think of it as an elevator pitch. So it answers the questions, why am I here? Where am I going? And how can we beat the competition? What am I offering to the customers that's more important than somebody else's offering? So it gets to the core purpose of the business. A vision is a little bit bigger. It's the big picture. So you can say where you want to go, but we're focusing tonight mostly on the mission statement. So it's the implementation of your vision, and it outlines what has to happen to realize that vision. So how do we get there from where we are now kind of guide. And people hang them up on the wall because it can unify the business around a common direction and purpose. And like I said, once people come up with a mission that they really can relate to, and everybody else in the company can relate to, it becomes a really important rallying point for the business. But it's not as simple to write as it sounds initially. So it highlights your unique philosophy, your unique circumstances, and as we went around the room, or the computer screen in my case tonight, every one of you has a different business. So you all have a unique set of circumstances that set you apart. And you have different ways of producing. You can think of things like native plants, organic have been big. You can look at a specific commodity like microgreens or chickens, or a target market such as supermarkets or high-end internet consumers or ethnic markets. So what are the unique circumstances for your business that answer the who, what, why, and hows that help you develop a business plan? So it's a really concise statement that describes the core purpose of the business. And it's often harder to write a short statement than a long one. But here's some examples. Madeline mentioned the resources we have. We have a fact sheet on mission statements that are there, and this is straight out of the fact sheet. So the example is there's a farm called Uncle Steve's that's located in Hunterdon County, and the farming operation is beef cattle raised for sale to various customers in New Jersey. So Steve is dedicated to the ethical treatment of his animals and is a strong believer in organic production. So that's kind of describing what Steve's farm is, but then to turn that into a mission statement, he wrote it as Uncle Steve's farm is dedicated to raising animals in an environmentally sustainable fashion with the strictest attention to animal health and comfort. These practices ensure a superior quality organic raised beef product for our customers and a picturesque environment for our neighbors. So it paints a picture of what Steve values, what the farm is about, and what it offers the customers, all in just 2 sentences here. Like I said, we started Annie's project in 2011, and this is one of the graduates from our very first Annie's project, and this is her mission statement. Jalma Farms is committed to sustainable native fruit orchards while preserving open space and protecting sensitive, fresh, and saltwater ecosystems. So you really get a feel for what Jalma Farms is about and what's important to them, and also the product that they have. So it really packs a lot in that 1 sentence. Another mission statement from that first year of graduates was B&B Livestock Farm. It's a quaint family-owned farm dedicated to recognizing our customers' needs by producing healthy, superior quality, all-natural foods for the local customer. Our high standards and commitment to cleanliness, animal health, and environmental stewardship allow for a relaxed, stress-free environment for our animals and visitors alike. So again, you get a clear picture of the things that are important to B&B Livestock Farm and what you can buy from them. Another great opportunity I had was to go to Nicaragua and help this the Pinos Fabreros co-op. Pinos means pine needles. So these women were making these little pine needle baskets that you see here. And an NGO had come up with this as a way of them earning some money, and had come up with some mission statement for them. But I worked with them to come up with a business plan for their co-op. So they wrote it, as you can see, they hand wrote it on this board themselves, and they, it was a group of women, so they all agreed on it, but they were so proud of that mission statement, and along with the products they had at the end. So they said, we're a cooperative of Indigenous women organized with the aim of improving the quality of life for our families through the production and commercialization of artisanal products based on the pine needle, offering a variety of natural, homemade, and environmentally friendly products for local and foreign tourists. And they were so proud then that they had all agreed on that, and it was something they created. So in that fact sheet that that you have in Canvas that we mentioned before, these are just worksheets to kind of help you start to come up with a mission statement for your farm if you don't already have one. So you need to describe what kind of business you have. Are you livestock? Are you nursery, vegetable, greenhouse, fruit, diversified, or something else that you want to describe? And then you can get into the sub details of what types of operation, what species do you produce. Then think of words that describe the values that you have in terms of your farming practices. Are you sustainable, green, local, native, environmental, profitable, fresh, natural, rural heritage, efficient, community involvement, what kind of quality, or some other words that are all your own that you can think of. And then how are you going to sell your products? Is it wholesale or retail, community supported agriculture, online, direct market, farmers market, agritourism, or some other way that you want to reach your customer? And then what about your customer base? Are they local? Are they retail? Are they restaurants? Are they specialty or something else? And what describes what you want to be known for? Do you want to be family friendly? Do you want to be humane to your animals? Natural, friendly service, high quality, superior quality, honesty and integrity, progressive, welcoming, kind, community supportive, or something else. So then try to take some of those words and briefly describe what makes your business unique. Why would I want to come to your business and buy your products if I'm your customer? And then try to turn that into a mission statement. And one of the most effective mission statements I remember, it still sticks in my brain, is a woman from the first class that we had in Turkey. She wanted to grow healthy. We grow healthy food for healthy people. It was simple, easy to remember, and it's still stuck in my brain. So make sure when you do have a mission statement, hang it up on the wall. You're seeing more and more of this in businesses. And when I go visit agriculture enterprises, I see their mission statement right up on the wall. So that can rally all the people in your business together, and also lets the customer know what you're about. And if you're not the only person in your business, and most of you aren't, a lot of you said you're running this with a husband, go home, work through this with your husband or other partners in the business, and come up with a mission statement for next week. So, and that's your homework for next week, but it's also most important that it's for your farm for long term. So here is my contact information, the Farm Business Management website, some other resources that might be helpful. We have some alternate crop fact sheets. I think some of these are in the resources for Canvas. We have an Annie's Project website, and then we mentioned Ag Plan for the University of Minnesota. And unfortunately, it sounds like it may not be mobile friendly, and sorry to hear that, but I will stop sharing the screen and be willing to take any questions that we have.
Hey, you can also put your questions in chat.
So it's not a super easy job to come up with a mission statement, but it's a really valuable document. And I think when you do come up with it, it'll be something that you can really use for your business. And if you don't have it totally refined, being willing to share it next week, I'm sure that other people in classes can help you modify it a little bit. That's what I found in the past too, is we're very good at helping each other. Okay, some comments.
Yeah, we had a good question from Ashley. Do you think it's more effective to be short and pithy or very descriptive?
I guess that's a matter of opinion, but I would probably say short and pithy. What do you think, Madeline? We had kind of a combination of some of the examples I gave. The descriptive gives a little bit more information, but I think when you're descriptive, you want to describe the core of your values and your philosophy, not so much of listing every kind of cheese that you offer.
Yeah. Sometimes people come up with like a quick vision statement where they see themselves as down the road, and a lot of times those are like short and catchy.
Yeah, like I said, that one that sticks
in
mind is growing healthy food for healthy people, because they wanted to be more, use less pesticides, maybe not be organic, but move toward that direction. So, they can say that and still not have to be certified organic, but it shows that they're trying to, grow really good quality food. Is it better? Coach?
Yes, Kristen had
okay, go ahead.
Yep, Kristen had a good question. Is it better to be specific, like we sell beef products, chicken breasts, and eggs, or broad, like we sell quality animal products, if we sell a wide variety of products?
I would say be broad, because your mission statement isn't like a list of everything you sell. It's a broader statement about who you are and what you're about. It's more like a tagline. Somebody, Meg's mentioning. So I don't think you want to list everything. I would go more for quality animal products. And that way it also gives you room to change. As when Faye pointed out, you're going to have to pivot over time. So you don't want to lock it down so that you're changing your mission statement all the time as you have to change your business. Your core values are probably going to stay the same. So you want it to be kind of that elevator pitch that's not really long, but it encompasses what you're about.
Okay.
And
like Megan asked, like, can you turn your mission statement into like a tagline, like for signage at a market?
yeah, what I see is, the shorter you can get it, that encompasses everything that you want to capture there, the better. And then you can put that on your letterhead, your signage, up on the wall. I find, people, I guess now pretty much everything's online. So it would be on your social media, on your website. In the past, people would make little trifold kind of brochures and have it there. Probably not used so much anymore, but you want it short enough so that you can make it a tagline. And
Yeah.
as well as hanging it
Probably-
up, but everything's pretty much online now. So something that you can sort of combine it with your logo and put it there. Did I hear somebody else try to ask a question?
Yeah, Robin, do you feel like when you're writing your business plan, like if a loan officer is looking at, do they look for your mission statement as well to give them an overview?
We'll have to ask Farm Credit. They
Okay.
mostly go straight to the financial plan. But I think they're also looking that you believe in your business and you have a passion and that you can make it work. And I think that mission is really important for there. So while they're mostly going to see if it's going to hold financially, I think that mission statement is really important and that it has to follow through in every other part of your business plan. I just taught a small business essentials class, and it's, if that mission statement hangs together and it falls through the rest of the plan, like I'm ready, if I was a loan officer, I would give them money. I think it is pretty key, that it all ties together.
Yeah, any other questions, or would anyone like to unmute, as long as you don't mind being recorded? Oh, Maria had a comment. I think the process is very iterative and it takes some time to go from a list of products and description of what you do to something succinct and catchy.
Absolutely. I think it's going to take you all week to work with people at your business, and you may not even get it by next week, but that's their goal. I've watched people struggle with that. It's easy to come up with a description of what you do, but then to turn that into a mission statement is much harder. And then
Yeah, see, Stephanie asks, is a humor and catchy a good thing, or should it be more professional?
I think it depends on the image you want to portray. If you want to be known as kind of casual and fun, then I think humor and catchy would be great. If you want to be thought of as more serious, then more professional. It has to be true to your character, would be my call. What do you think, Madeline? You've worked with a lot of
I think maybe humor and catchy might be good for like social media, like promotional stuff, but I think for your like business plan and how you're going to train your employees to, sell them on what your business is about, I think it would be good to have your mission statement more professional and save the kind of fun, catchy stuff for your promotional materials.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. You don't want it to be so boring that you put people to sleep, though. It's like
yeah.
But it's great. I'm glad so many people are asking questions. You're very involved.
Yeah. Diane says it is phrasing more beneficial than others, like women owned or sustainable.
Well, I think when you're going to, that's a very good point. When you're going for grants and things right now, there's a big focus on diversity, and the women owned and sustainable are two biggies that are a lot of government programs and other things are going toward. So I think those are really good phrasing, if they're going to stay that way, it's going to stay woman owned. I think I would, that's a good thing to put in there, and sustainable as well. Because we're realizing how fragile this planet is we all live on, and sustainability has become very big. So has, buying locally and so forth. And a lot of the grants and things are focusing on just previously sort of underserved people, like women, like minorities, like Native Americans, and so forth.
That's a good, that was a good point. Any other questions or comments about mission statements? Or about our program this evening or going forward?
I hope we started off with a bang by having a really successful woman farmer who started a business from scratch, as like several people pointed out, without even living close to family. Her family's halfway across the world, and his family, I think, is up north somewhere. So
yeah. Maria had a good question in chat. Do you have examples of customer value proposal that you mentioned in the presentation? One of the first few slides.
It's very, it's sort of contained within your mission statement. Is what are you offering the customer? I don't have an example per se, but what are you offering the customer that they will value? And I don't know if our marketing people are going to talk about this a lot, but when you're selling things to customers, there's a value in terms of how much it costs you to produce, but there's also a value to them of what it offers to their life. And there's been studies on, like nature and horticulture, how that adds value to us. And I was watching some travel channel, and there's some country that was a fairly poor country, but they look at happiness quotient, so it's kind of that too, is we're not only just selling tomatoes, but we're selling, locally grown, juicy, freshly picked tomatoes. It's one of the things we need to do in New Jersey is we have to focus on our comparative advantage. And we have high labor, high land, high taxes, high regulations, but we have the richest consumer market in the world right next to us. And so I've been impressed at how farmers in New Jersey take advantage of that. So you need to think of, how am I going to reach out to those customers, and what can I give them that will make their life better? And so that's what goes into that consumer value proposition, is what am I giving them beyond just green beans and steak?
Yeah. Good question. Okay, we'll see you next week, Hannah.
Yeah, we're coming to the end.
Next week. Yeah. Okay.
Most of you are stuck in there till the end, and I always assume asking questions means that you're still interested. So hopefully you all come with at least a start of a mission statement next week, or a good one, and hopefully we can help each other make better ones, and we can pretend like we're your customers and see if you're giving us some value for our money.
Okay. Any other questions? Okay. Looks like not, but we're really excited to have you in this class, and we look forward to seeing you next week.